Welcome to the Liquidity Event, a show about all things personal finance with a laser focus on taxes, financial independence, and equity compensation. Hosted by AJ and Shane of Brooklyn FI, each episode will focus on a personal finance topic, some driven by news headlines and sometimes driven by listener questions. And sometimes you'll just get two money nerds rambling about what they think is interesting. Just a quick note before we get started, this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered tax or investment advice.
Hello, and welcome to the Liquidity Event. I'm your host, Allie Jane Ayers.
And I'm Shane Mason.
And this is episode 158, being recorded on September 17th, airing on September 18th. That's tomorrow. Email us your finance questions at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com, and we will answer them live on the air. Today on the show, we have a recap from a weird financial advisor conference Shane and I were at last week, using AI to pay off debt, and why winning the lottery sucks. How are you doing today, Shane?
What is this voice you're doing?
I don't know. I've been recording all morning, so I'm in radio host mode.
What was that? Where's my friend?
That's my NPR voice. This morning on Morning Edition.
Oh my God. I'm so soothed. I'm so relaxed.
What up?
Everything's left my brain. My brain is water, and all sounds and senses are bouncing off of it because I'm full Zen mode. Count the breaths, do a body scan. That's where we're at.
Headspace. Yeah, just lean back. You know, my late grandmother had a late career in meditation classes, which always made no sense to me because she was a fiery personality, as one can imagine.
I think we're all attracted to things that we're not good at. Right? I want to play the guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, she didn't get into real estate. I feel like that's the normal late career move. She didn't do that?
No, she didn't. I mean, this is like greatest generation. I feel like that's like the boomer generation, late career move, real estate.
That's what my mom did. Yeah. Which was honestly great for her mental health.
Yeah. But what is it? Sherry Mason Real Estate LLC. I've seen that tax return pop up once in a while.
Thank you for the shout out. Yes, if anyone is in the armpit of Florida, Cape Coral, not to use that as a pejorative, I just don't know the other word, the actual word for it. I guess the Panhandle / the Cape Coral area, and is trying to buy a house. Hit up Sherry Mason because she's a fantastic.
We love to support small businesses on this podcast, especially those run by our family.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to do a segue, but you're the host today, so I'm not going to steal your segues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always steal the segues. Speaking of segues, I don't have a good one.
Speaking of segues.
I was going to talk about the Segway founder who rolled himself off a cliff, who I think was from California, which is where you and I were last week for the 4th annual Future Proof Wealth Management Festival. Right. This was my second or third time, our second time together in beautiful Huntington Beach, California, right on the beach. For those of you who in your professional lives go to conferences, when you think of conference, you probably think of like basement at the Hilton in downtown Atlanta, dark conference rooms, kind of crappy turkey sandwiches, presenters, and Future Proof tries to be not that. It's right on the pavement, the paved parking lot next to the beach. The sun has been beautiful and shining every year, so you're outside listening to panels, walking around all the booths, hearing about new fintech. So it's a very cool conference. And they also have a musical guest, which is not unique to financial services conferences.
Surprisingly enough.
Because I have so far seen one of my favorite bands of all time, Weezer, in the basement of the San Diego. Was that like a Ramada Inn? I forget which hotel that was. Oh, sorry, that's the Riyadh. That's the Ramadan.
Wow. Nothing like a podcast to oust yourself for not knowing how to pronounce
Ramadan? Ramadan?
The Ramada Inn.
Anyway,
incredible.
Saw Weezer there. Saw Third Eye Blind twice at financial advisor conferences, but unfortunately,
right?
I missed this one. Who did you see? You went to the concert. What'd you see?
I did, yes. AJ, dear listener, if you don't know this, AJ cannot stay to the end of a conference. She refuses to. It's like there's a couple things she can't get to the end of. That's any YouTube video. It could even be a YouTube short. it could be like a 16-second video. Within 6 seconds, she is squirming in her seat. The other thing she can't finish is a conference. If it's a Monday to Wednesday conference, she's out Tuesday, buddy. Hate to tell you. So you got to squeeze in those appointments ASAP. No one knows why. I don't know what it is. Something to do with not being like the vibe.
I don't
of not
like,
being the first
you
to
know
a
me.
party.
I love to leave parties early. My favorite thing about going
Uh-huh.
to any social event is getting ready and arriving. So therefore, I like to leave. I like to be not the first to leave, but like the third person to leave. So that applies to parties, anything, conferences.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Very interesting behavioral trait about AJ. So yeah, she was out. So I did stick around for Future Proof all the way until, the fat lady sang,
bitter
so
end.
to speak.
Yeah,
it was really sad. Honestly, the
Opposite,
last
you
day.
stay till the very end, and you're always texting me like, why the hell am I in Tacoma, Washington by myself on a Thursday? Checked out of my hotel room. My flight's not till 10 p.m. Like, AJ, save me. What do I do? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm back at
Yeah.
home. I've been
Yeah.
back home for 36 hours.
I guess there's still some sort of the poor version of me that thinks we've paid for this and I have to stick out till every session or something. I don't know. Well, in this case, in LA, I was sticking around to see my buddy who was camping, so I didn't get to see him anyway. So it was just a very like being in a foreign or a far away place by yourself without anyone to talk to. You just go like robot hands. You're like doing the Quentin Tarantino in his house alone, or or you're just like, what am I doing? I just want to go home and see my dog, see my friends, whatever. So anyway, I stayed late, and I saw it worked out great because Blues Traveler opened up for Bush. Yes, Machine Head, Glycerin, that Bush, which they really know their target audience with these conferences, because the average age had to be 42, which puts Bush and Blues Traveler right in like the late 90s, early aughts was their peak. Gwen Stefani era, no doubt. It was fun. My sister-in-law happens to live there, and so shout out to Sean, Tidlaska, and Ian for giving me their badges and allowing me to sneak in my sister-in-law and her boyfriend to an open bar on, like, they live there, so they see these events happen, but they never get to go to them. And they were at open bar, maybe 500 person to see Bush, and they said it was like the best night of the year. So super fun. That. Yeah, it was cool.
We take a lot for granted, Shane. There's a lot of good that we get to do and a lot of cool shit we get to do, and we complain about it. But
yes, that was my takeaway, is that I should be more grateful for the things that I get to do multiple times per year. How did you feel about the conference?
I thought it was good. I think I like that conference because it's fun and we get to see our financial planner friends who live in cities all over the country that I don't typically frequent, Midwest. So that's always fun for me. In terms of like value of the conference, I'm not sure I got a ton out of it this time. I did get to speak. That was cool. I got to do a presentation about how, LOL, I juggle content creation with life and running a business, which right now I'm doing poorly. So that was cool. What else was fun? I don't know, you just get to meet people. You see people on email, you see people on LinkedIn, then when you meet them in person, it's just a very different interaction. So I remain interested in going to conferences. I wanted to ask you, like, you and I go to a ton of conferences. Like, we're speaking of like robots, like we're pretty good at it. What are your like top 3 tips for getting the most out of a conference and having a good time?
Yeah, well, I used to go to conferences and just be like, well, this is what I'm doing. I go to probably 5 or 6 per year. And I think going in with a definition of success for a conference is a good idea. Now, I talked to my accountability coach, and she always asked me what my goal is now.
Accountability coach?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that voice. That's voice number 3 for AJ within 10 minutes, 8 minutes of this podcast. Listen, we all have our weaknesses and we all have our care teams. You have a care team that helps you with your weaknesses, right? Yeah.
Of course.
So one of mine is an accountability coach, all right? And she and I get together on a weekly basis because I don't have any employees anymore. No one reports to me. So the accountability is all up to me and my girl. So shout out to Allie. Oh, her name also happens to be Allie, which is extra
literal
fun
nightmare.
for me.
So yes, I do have a care team, and I love that you have a care team too. And accountability is important. I wanted to ask you, we go to a ton of conferences, you and I, like multiple per year. how do you ensure that you have the best time at a conference, that you like get through it, you get a lot out of it? Like top 3 tips for our listeners about how to have the best time at a conference.
Yeah. I've changed a bit on this in the past. I used to just go to the conference and hope to run into as many people as possible. But now I try to go in with an intent. I try to talk to somebody about, what it is that I'm trying to accomplish from going to that conference. Because sometimes you just get asked to speak and then you don't do any homework, or at least for me, I don't do homework. And then I just rock up, speak, and then kind of like hang out, which can be great, but it's more fun to go in with an intent, like try to collect this many names or see, have dinner with these specific people, and then come out of that marking that as a success instead of just rocking up and socializing for a few days. But I don't know how you feel about it though.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like to have a goal. If I don't have a goal, like I'll just be flailing around. So I always have like one person I want to meet that I don't know. So I'll like look at the conference list and I'll see like maybe it's the keynote speaker who's someone I want to catch. So I'll show up early and try to get them for coffee the day they're speaking. Or maybe it's just someone I've followed on LinkedIn and I want to see them. So like I'll just have like this one simple goal of meeting a new person. And then like I get to check that off and then celebrate. I think one thing that always drives me a little bit crazy. Look, conferences are exhausting. Like they're emotionally exhausting. You're talking all day. Maybe you're speaking, which is exhausting. You're meeting new people. Your brain is like trying to say what you do and learn what other people do and see who can help you and who you can help. So like at the end of the day, you're exhausted and like you need some time. And I understand some people are like, I'm an introvert, so I'm going back to my room for the night. I'm just calling it early. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like the networking, the connections, your future business partners, your future investors, like they are at the happy hour. They are at the hotel bar. Like, fine, go up to your room, recharge, take a shower, take a nap. But like, if you're not socializing at night, like, why are you spending $3,000 to $5,000 to travel to Huntington Beach in the first place? Like, I know you're introverted, but like, you made this investment. Like, figure out a way, take drugs, like whatever. Like, there are lots of great cocktails out there, folks, to get you through the night. And I don't just mean mojitos. Like, whatever you need to do to like show up for an hour and a half at that happy hour, that's my number one conference.
This really reminds me of this T-shirt I've been seeing around New York lately, which I just put in your Slack. Which
Is it about margaritas?
that's,
Because that's my favorite T-shirt is I hate margaritas. Just kidding. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? No, this is a T-shirt that says your soulmate is at the afters.
Oh no. Okay.
Which is about
Well,
staying
on
up
another
till 5,
podcast,
6
we
in
will
the
be covering what afters means. But today, we are going to talk about a New York Times article. The title is They Had Money Problems. They Turned to ChatGPT for Solutions. In this article, we meet a bunch of young folks, mostly, who took their money problems not to a financial advisor, not to a CPA, but to chat, as the kids call it. What was your take on this ChatGPT solution for financial advice?
Yeah, I mean, we're all trying to figure out as a species or as millennials, according to this article, or like one of the and Gen Z are the few people that are using it heavily. What to use ChatGPT for? And I think what we're seeing here in this article is it's really good for ideation and for replacing expensive advisors or doctors when you don't have the money, or if you want to access a C-tier version of those services on a daily basis, is what I'm getting from this article. And if you just like, speed is important to some people. I don't necessarily need the right answer or the perfect answer, but I need a good enough answer now. And is something that I'm seeing from ChatGPT use or just general large language model use from people within the United States. So I'm seeing, there's a quote in here that 2/3 of adults who have used generative AI said they'd use it for financial advice, which is interesting. And 80% of those have acted on that advice, and it has improved their financial situation, which I think is really great, honestly. Like you and I have talked a lot about whether or not, as financial advisory firm owners, it's obviously a very important thing to us, whether or not AI will take our jobs, employees' jobs, or which stakeholders' jobs will be impacted, right, at the firm. So it is interesting to see that it is filling in for people that can't get any advice, which I think is a good thing. But I don't see it really doing anywhere close to the in-depth level of advice that we do. I mean, that's another podcast. But I'm just happy that there's success stories in here of people being able to use it to help turn around their credit card debt, help them with budgeting, help them with all kinds of just like the day-to-day nitty-gritty personal finance stuff that is really hard to accomplish as a financial advisor, where you're limited to your time. Whereas ChatGPT has just aggregated all of this financial advice that's been put out there on the internet and allows it democratizes it a bit.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, this article focused on debt pay down. And actually,
Mhm.
that's a thing you and I talk about all the time. It's like clients will come to us and say, like, hey, I've got a bunch of credit card debt. Can you help? And we'll say, honestly, no,
Yeah.
like we're expensive and we're really good at complex tax efficient investing. Just make a spreadsheet and pay the highest interest one off first. So like I love this. I love ChatGPT for this kind of, I don't want to call it simple because credit card debt is a complex problem, but like, hey, I've got these 3 cards. I don't know which one to pay off first. Give me a 3-week pay down plan. I mean, I've used ChatGPT for like exercise and like health plans. Like, hey, I want to make sure I'm exercising 3 times a week. Here's a copy of my Google Calendar. Here's the times I can exercise. Generally I want to eat healthier for breakfast and lunch because dinner I'm usually unhealthy. Like, please suggest 3 easy meals I can make with Trader Joe's ingredients. ChatGPT is so good at that kind of thing. If I needed to lose weight because I had a health problem, like I would go to a nutritionist or a doctor. But for the masses who has a problem that they need to solve quickly, I totally agree. I love ChatGPT. Another thing, Shane, that you said, which I like, is the access. Like, I think about this all the time. When I need to get my haircut, I need my haircut today. And I don't have time next week. I'm going on a trip tomorrow. I need my haircut today. But my hairdresser, who is lovely and very popular, does not have availability for 3 weeks. And I did not have the
It's normal. Yeah.
forethought to book it. So I'm like, I need this thing now. And I feel like that's a specific thing about finances and like getting started with if you're just getting started or you're like, I've been putting this off for months. I finally have time. It's Sunday night at 8 p.m. Like no financial advisor is going to meet with you Sunday night at 8 p.m. So you're going to start doing the research on ChatGPT. So that idea of access is at your fingertips. Actually, I do like a lot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's not like it's not most people's job, right? So the 9 to 5 aspect of getting things done, like you're going to be doing this in your free time if personal finance isn't your job, to your point. So that Sunday afternoon when you get the momentum or you just get the wild hair to do a backdoor Roth IRA, you're going to email your financial advisor and they're not going to get back to you until Monday morning, right? So by then you're at work, you can't log into stuff, you don't remember, you've just lost access and the momentum to get these things done.
Yeah, I mean, remember when we started this firm and we were like, people work from 9 to 5, so we'll meet with you after hours and we'll meet with you at 8 o'clock on a Thursday or 5 o'clock on a Sunday because we thought, wow, people aren't going to make time in their lives for this, so let's make ourselves available when they do have time, which I think was awesome for a lot of people who wouldn't have been able to access it otherwise. But we obviously stopped doing that once we realized that that was not a sustainable business and no one would come work for us if we made them work at 8 p.m. on Thursdays. So now we have lovely Zoom meetings you can schedule anytime between the hours of 10 and 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Well, speaking of unsustainable businesses, I love one of these stories within the article about a woman that was trying to cut her credit card debt in half, and she asked ChatGPT every day for 30 days ways to raise money. Which on a long enough timeline, you're going to run into some issues. Creative ways to raise money. For example, she sold a watermelon, and this wording is very strange. Sold a fresh watermelon with her debt total tattooed on it for $51. So I guess she just wrote the amount of her debt on a watermelon and sold it to some poor victim, somebody that felt bad for her. Okay. She recovered $700 from her state's unclaimed property registry.
Oh, yeah.
And she donated her plasma for $80 despite her fear of needles. However, eventually it did get to selling feet pics, AJ, which this person did upload and then quickly delete afterwards when she realized that probably wasn't the move to get out of credit card debt. So, yeah.
Disagree. Anyway.
Yeah.
One thing.
Oh, you disagree?
Yeah.
That took me a second.
I disagree. I just want to point out that study that you cited,
Yeah.
the study that you cited about 80% of adults using AI for ChatGPT, that was from an Intuit Credit Karma survey. Why can't we speak today?
I don't know.
So that survey result seemed a little bit skewed. So people who are already on Credit Karma are going to take a survey about are they using AI for getting financial help. Like if you're already on Credit Karma, you're kind of already self-selecting as someone who is, I don't know, into finance or interested in personal finance. Anyway, speaking of personal finance, we have another New York Times article about lottery winners who share hard lessons ahead of the $1.8 billion Powerball, which happened last weekend. We did have 2 winners who won, they split the jackpot and they won a couple $100 million each. What was your take on this lottery winner article?
There were actually 3 winners. I just didn't want to come forward, but if there are any single women listening to the podcast, I'd like it to be known that I was the 3rd winner of the podcast. So yeah, the majority, some interesting takeaways from the article was that the majority of, I guess there's a guy that won and now has a podcast. He has a podcast a guy that won in the past, not the most recent $1.8 billion jackpot, but Mr. Schultz has a podcast, Lottery, Dreams, and Fortune, where he interviews lottery winners. So that the majority of guests he's talked to won by letting the computer randomly pick their numbers. Now, I know the majority of people that listen to this podcast are probably not lottery players, whether they're other financial advisors and they know the odds, or they are our clients and they also know the odds, and they are diligent, frugal investors. But apparently, if you are going to play the lottery, the way to win is to allow the computer to pick the numbers for you. How do you feel about that? Would you let a computer pick your numbers?
As a child of a compulsive lottery player.
Yeah.
Yes, let the computer pick your numbers.
All right. Interesting. Don't you think it's interesting that there's a podcast about everything? This guy has a podcast where he just talks to other lottery winners. If I had time, I would have listened to a couple episodes before.
Sounds great.
Today's pod about pods.
The wealth of knowledge. Well, I don't know if it's knowledge though, because it's just people's blathering opinions. But yeah, the sheer number of audio files of people blathering about random things they're interested in on the podcast is staggering. So I have written a lot about this before, in terms of like a windfall. Like, how do you spend a windfall? How do you, or as I call it, how do you stop a windfall from ruining your life? Because we deal with windfalls a lot. They're not lottery tickets exactly.
Is this on Money Changes Everything where you write about this?
Yes, it is on Money Changes Everything, my Substack, which just got its 4,000th and 20th subscriber, Mr. Shane Mason.
Hell yeah, 420. I was waiting.
Yeah, you wanted to make a big splash?
For the right number. If I wasn't subscribed, how do I get 17 emails about it every week? Before? Quick question. How is it different? What was I getting?
I don't know. You weren't subscribed.
I was getting an email with every post on Money Changes Everything.
Then you were subscribed, but I did not see
so I don't know.
Anyways.
I'm going to filter Money Changes Everything in my emails and show you just how many.
Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I wrote about how to stop a windfall from ruining your life, and just kind of like how we think about our clients who work at companies and then they go public, and sometimes the switch flips. We call them lottery tickets, right? If you have exercised stock options in the past at a private company that then goes public, that is, the odds aren't as low as winning the lottery, but it's still pretty difficult to do in terms of chance. So we think about this with our clients a lot. So my step one for winning lottery, or suddenly coming into money, sudden money, they call it, is spend 1% on something awesome. Just 1% on yourself. Just, for some people, that's a car. For some people, it's a dinner. For some people, it's a piece of jewelry, whatever. Get that out of the way. And then the work begins. Like, you've done the thing, you've celebrated. It's not a giant house. It's not a massive purchase. It's just 1% of the total. What would you spend your 1% on?
A boat, of course. Yeah.
What if it's $5,000?
Oh. Maybe a watch. Yeah, maybe it's time. I inherited a Rolex from my dad, and I'll never wear it except for maybe my wedding, God willing. But yeah, so maybe a walking around watch. I would actually look a little flashy. But I've never been a watch guy. So a $5,000 piece of jewelry or an article of clothing, I don't know, man. Unfortunately, I would probably invest it, but that's not what you're asking me.
That's fine.
Is it?
That's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to invest it, you're
right into the IRA, baby.
You want for nothing. Maybe pay your tax bill down a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be an investment.
Yeah, an investment in removing a 5.5% interest penalty. Anyways, as you make your way through the steps, it's basically accept it, deal with it, get a therapist, get your money care team in order, or your care team, get your accountability coach, get your financial advisor, get your CPA, get your estate planning attorney, gather the troops so you don't have to go at this alone, because it's probably the first time that you've had significant wealth. So that's all we have to say on that. Let's turn to a listener question. Right. How much stock is too much? I'm in an interesting predicament where some stocks I hold from a previous employer has really accelerated over the last few years and is now 50% of a pretty large and diversified portfolio. Lots of people say it's way too much, but even if it dropped to zero, it wouldn't affect our future. In fact, our holdings in it dropped $500,000 in one day, but I never panicked, and it has since come back, and now some experts are predicting it to rise another $55 per share. The dividends are good. I don't know who those experts are, but God bless those experts. The dividends are good, which helps us pay our expenses, but I could earn more in a CD, yada, yada, yada. We're 66 and 69 years old, retired. We're in a great situation. Financial professionals don't really know what to do with us. What should I do? Do I hold too much concentrated stock? What do you think?
Yes. For one, I love the experts are predicting to rise.
The experts predict $55.5 per share.
Yeah, but you can never tell. It's gonna rise another $55 per share. Well, these questions always lack a few pieces of really critical information. Like it's gone down, but now it's back. It's gonna go up, and like, is it $10,000 per share? Is it, Berkshire Hathaway, or like what is the stock? Was it $1 and now it's 55 and it's going to go to another 55 up? I don't know. Anyway, if financial experts are predicting it to rise another $55 per share, then why hasn't it already? Like, all future earnings are typically priced into the stock price. If you don't care about it, then why are we even having this conversation? Just sell it is my typical response to questions of this nature. If it is 50% of your portfolio, but you don't care if it goes to zero, there are some underlying personal finance and psychological issues we should probably talk about. Like, is there no one in your life that could benefit from $500,000? Oh, wait, you're 66 and 69. Okay, so you don't care. We just don't care about other people. Like, we've made our money and we're good. That sounds familiar. I don't know how to. I love this response as well, just below it. Someone gave me the advice once on accelerating stocks. Sell 25% when you hit the threshold that makes you think you should. Anything to unpack there, AJ? Thanks for that sage wisdom. Wrong respect 3031. What the hell does that? And then the next answer is, this is the right answer. Best to play with house money. It's 50% of your portfolio. We don't play around at all.
I know. This is this whole thing about having purpose. If you don't have purpose in your life, you don't surround yourself with good people. Yeah, money is meaningless. But this is, it's not $500,000, Shane. I think it's millions, because it dropped $500,000 in one day. So we can extrapolate that it's at least, I don't know, 1.5 million in this concentrated stock. I like the 25% part of this answer. Like, let's come up with a sell-off plan. If you're so uninterested in it and you so don't care, give 25% to someone that you love, where it would make a massive difference in their life. I bet there's someone in your life, whether it's your kids or your brother or the person who cleans your house or your houses. Like, think about people directly in your life who this could help, since you clearly don't need it and are posting on Reddit about it in the middle of the night. Like, It obviously is weighing on you. So what if you just didn't have it and it didn't weigh on you anymore, and then it was all diversified and you still had all the money in the world that you need for the rest of your life? How would that feel? So I say 25% give it away, 25% sell right now, and then sell the rest off over the next 3 years.
There we go.
Knowing all the facts. Trading plan. Just pick a number, sell it, stick to it. Better yet, have someone else sell it for you, so you don't have to freak out about the stock price dropping 5% getting to $55.
I'm infatuated with the other responses that people are giving. Isn't this the perfect place to use options? Buy put options. If the stock goes up, you lose on your put options, which you can write off for tax purposes. Like, that's a huge reveal. But your main stock offsets that loss. So I don't know. These people like, I don't care about the money. You think they're going to go buy put options? I don't know. A lot of different levels of education and experience on the personal finance spaces of Reddit. So I doubt that these retired folks who don't give a damn about the stock are going to buy any put options. Just sell the stock. Do what AJ did. Do what AJ said.
Just imagine you're this person's kid and you like find this.
Oh, well, they haven't responded to any of the offers. Like, there's no responses within the thread,
Right,
and a lot of people
course.
are like, "Do you not have kids?"
Well, it's just like just imagine for a second you're this person's. They're 60. Yeah, you're this person's 35-year-old daughter. I don't know. Maybe you just got married and you just got laid off, or your partner just got laid off, and you're struggling to pay your rent in the city that you live in, which is near your parents because you take care of them, by the way. And you come across this Reddit post that your parents are so uninterested in their money that they're asking Reddit for how they should diversify.
Median household income of an American is $40,000.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. We have too much. Yeah, there's too much wealth.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Concentrated wealth.
we've lost the plot. Diversify, folks. That's all I got for you this week. Anything else you want to say, Shane?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for hosting this week.
Thank you for co-hosting with me, and thank you, listeners, for listening. You can email us your financial problems at liquidityevent@brooklynify.com, or you can just post them on Reddit, and we will find them. And finally, Stans can leave us a review if they want to be weird about it. We will see you next week.